If you feel comfortable in poverty, you will stay there. And every time you get out, you will mess it up till you get back there, because that's your belief system. It's not that you don't want better. You like the idea of better. You shout about better. You dance about better. You ran up here and threw $20 on the altar and danced back to your seat for better. But when better came, better looked funny.
Some people are going through some significant problems right now. More difficult than you can ever imagine. You think you got it tough? You have no idea what that other person got going on.
Look, everybody in this room, everybody watching, everybody got something they got to deal with.
Warriors are invincible until their own minds and mouth betray them. Many of those around you won't be able to see your dream.
I think we need to come back to a place where we're examining ourselves as an individual before our people. We make the people better when we deal with the person you got to deal with the person you got to deal with you. It's always going to be impossible to you if you don't see the power of your will and the power of your why. I stand out here in this desert, and let me tell you, this time of the year is very hot. It is so hot that you can barely even. Yes, I'm tired. I'm exhausted to stand here and to reach out to so many of you to give you the message that you may need to hear, but yet I am doing what is necessary. I'm depleted, I'm tired, but I'm not defeated, because I know I got a job to do.
This is how we learn. This is how we grow. This is how we build. Yes, you're going to go through those challenges. Yes, you're going to go through some tough times in your life. But like I always say, when it gets tough, you get tough. Kill the excuses. Kill the weakness. And learn something about yourself. Learn that you're not that great, but you're great enough to learn something new every day. And you must learn to humble yourself. Yes, there are people in the world that will literally glorify themselves.
Get to dealing with it. Stop complaining about it. Complaining about it only makes it stay present. Don't give up when reaching your dream is difficult. Listen, if success were easy, you've heard it a million times. Everybody would be successful. It requires a grit and a toughness to be successful. But I got news for you. It's something that all of you have in you. Now, whatever you've been through, whatever that is, guess what? You're still here. Whatever you think riches is, that's your definition. There's a survey that says riches and success is being happy. Well, all you have to do then is determine what is it that makes you happy and start down that path. Now, to find true success, I believe that you've got to do some work, because it's not free.
As if they were God Almighty himself. But you got to understand, you didn't make the world. You were born in it. And eventually you will die in it. But when you're walking this earth, when you're living in this world, understand that you're learning. Because you're living. Maybe I just don't have all the answers. Maybe you should change a little bit. Maybe you need to understand that everything is not going to always go the way you think it should go. If the world was so perfect, we wouldn't be in the position that we are in right now. But it is not the world's fault. It's the people that are living in it. And you, my friend, are a part of it. I am a part of it. And the decisions that we make, the way we think of ourselves, the way we think of our brothers and sisters.
Everybody would love to wake up and just be happy and bubbly, but it requires some work. So I want to share with you something from my book, chapter 11. There is no self-made man. Now, most of us want to believe that we're independent, that if we set our minds to do something, simply it can get done. Well, I got news for you. Unless you look to others, you can work twice as hard to get half as much. Sometimes you need a partner in a deal in order to aid you along the way. There is nothing wrong with asking for what you want. You know, for a long time, I used to think that the path to success was going at it alone, because I was always busy priding myself on not asking for help. I was homeless. I didn't want to ask for help. I lived in a car. I didn't want to ask for help. And I almost missed out. I didn't realize how many people were willing to have discussions with me about success.
Wherever you may be, and you in a situation where things need to be done and people need to depend on you and work has to be done at a significant time and place, you need to carry on and do your work. You need to carry on and do your job, because we all have a duty to society. We'd all got things that we need to do day in and day out. Being tired, feeling depleted doesn't mean that you're dead. Maybe you got to slow down a little bit and take your time, but you still got to keep on moving. You got to still keep on working. You got to still keep on pushing forward. You can't stop now. So when things start to show up and distractions start to happen in your life,
but you don't need them to see it in order for it to happen. All you need is a set of your own eyes that do. Knowing how to do something right isn't enough. The greats are great because they forgot how to ever do it wrong. Before a sickness can get your body, it must first get your mind. The doors that haven't opened in your life are value locked doors. Meaning the doors of opportunity that you have waited for so long to open will not open until you first embrace your self-worth and see your true value. Every day, live towards the pursuit of success requires dedication, discipline, and resiliency. For victory to be materialized, one must dive deep into the belly of failure and snatch it away with undeniable will. Clinging to the shores of safety.
Find out what poor people read and don't read. Don't talk like they talk. Lend a helping hand, but don't fall into their poor philosophical scenario. Don't blame what they blame. Don't use the excuses they use. It's called the language of the poor. Switch gears, switch language, switch ideas, switch strategy. Start with the simplest of disciplines. And don't bemean any of these disciplines. The smallest of disciplines starts the process of life change. And if you'll invest in this thing called discipline, you can have whatever you wish. It's called the beginning of a miracle. And now here's the last clue on discipline. Do the best you can. We covered earlier, but here's a good scenario for the do the best you can. I've got a good question for you. Is the best you can do all you can do? And the answer is no. Strangely enough, if we all fell on the floor right now and did as many push-ups as we possibly could.
don't feel that you are defeated. Don't feel because you're down on your knees that you are defeated. Don't be submissive to things that doesn't control your life. You control your life, not things surrounding you. You have got to do better each and every day. You have got to grow stronger each and every day. You have got to stop allowing things that doesn't concern you. Enough to hurt you and put you down because your depletion becomes something else. Because once you feel depleted and you're not realizing that maybe I'm just a little tired, but I'm not dead, but you're focusing too much on the weakness and you're thinking because you're depleted, you're done.
And comfort denies one the glory of conquering the seas. Leave your cowardice on the beach and like the bold captains of legend, sail directly into the vast ocean of greatness. Success is war, and sometimes a very costly one. To be victorious, one must be willing to shed their own blood, sweat, and tears upon the battlefield of days until destiny waves the white flag of surrender. The master key that unlocks all bondage is hidden in the mind of the one who thinks they're enslaved. Words, no matter how beautifully said or written, will always place second to the art of action. All the great men and women of history at some point in their life decided to be great. Decision is the womb that action is birthed out of. Doubt and pessimism are both malicious thought perspectives that seek to derail the birth of greatness.
And let's say for some reason you haven't been into push-ups lately. I can't imagine why, but let's say the best you can do is 5. And you look up at the rest of us and say, hey, 5 is the best I can do. We can tell by the look on your face that's probably true. 5 is the best you can do. Now, is 5 all you can do? The answer is no. If you rest a little, you can do 5 more. And if you rest a little, you can do 5 more. And if you rest a little, you can do 15 more. How did we get from 5 to 15? It's a miracle. And if you rest a little, you can do 15. Rest a little, you can do 15. Rest a little, you can do 20. How did you get from 5 to 20? It's a miracle. Did you know you can keep doing that? Do a little more, rest a little, do a little more, rest a little, and finally get up to 50 push-ups? Is it possible to get up to 50 push-ups?
If you move on any path, any methodology, and it brings joy to you, more sensitivity, more watchfulness, and gives a feeling of immense well-being, this is the only criterion that you are going on the right path. If you become more miserable, more angry, more of an egoist, more greedy, more lustful, those are the indications you are moving on a wrong path.
Most people use their imagination, they use it the wrong way. They imagine what won't work. They imagine something bad happening.
What should we imagine more often every day?
We should imagine you should see yourself where you want to be. You got to live there. Well, when you reach a goal, you're going to act like you're already there. It's already happened intellectually the second you think about it. It's already happened emotionally when you're emotionally involved with it. So it's only a period of time until it manifests in physical form.
Right.
But because it's not in physical form, we act like we haven't got it yet.
Yeah.
Well, so that's why most people stay stuck, because they're acting like they haven't got it yet. And so you see yourself, your imagination, you got to be that person. Goethe said that, great philosopher. He said, before you can do something, you first must be something. So you've got to be it intellectually. You've got to be it emotionally. It's like Solomon says, as a person thinks within their heart, the emotional mind. Well, it's only a period of time then until it manifests physically. That's one of the first laws of the universe, is the perpetual transmutation of energy. Energy is moving into form. Always. To form, moving into form, through form, back into form again. So we cause it all to happen the way we think and the way we stay locked into ideas.
Well, what do people go watch when they go see a movie? They watch a romantic adventure. Well, why? Because that's what they want in their life. They don't want peace and tranquility and guaranteed basic income and the pleasures of gratified infantile dependence. They want a bloody adventure. And if they don't get a real adventure, they'll take a false one and wreak havoc. And we have no shortage of false adventures in our culture. Well, you can either lift up a cross or have one dropped on you, right? There's no non-cross option in this world. You all know perfectly well that your idiot, immature hedonism is going to vanish in a puff of smoke at the first sign of trouble. You know that. And you know that it's thin gruel. That's why you're hedonistic and hopeless at the same time. You need something beyond that. Why? Because life in some ways is unbearable. And so you need something worth bearing to make it bearable. And life is very heavy load. And so that means you have to carry something very heavy to justify it. Don't say things you don't mean, and don't go along with things you don't agree with. I told my kids when they went to school, look, kids, follow the rules, but don't follow stupid rules. Who decides if they're stupid? Well, that's a hard question, because most of the time you should follow the rules. But now and then the rules get pathological, and you have to stand up. I said, if you're going to stand up and break a rule, think about it, and you have to be willing to take the consequences. But there's consequences to not standing up to stupid rules too. And if you think that those consequences are lesser, then you suffer from the delusion that there's an easy path through life.
No one knows enough to be a pessimist about anything. And that each and every one of us, when we close our mind to what is possible for us or what is possible for humanity, closes off the genius that resides and lives in each and every one of us. Having an open mind doesn't necessarily mean finding fault with all of the things that you've been taught by others. It means opening yourself up to the potentiality and the possibility that anything and everything is possible.
How did you create a habit?
habit. Practice. You practice it. So the second way of changing a program is practice a new life if you don't like the one you have. I like it, new agey people. Fake it till you make it. And I go, well, yeah, what does that mean? I said, well, I'm a miserable person. I want to be happy. So I said, but you're not happy. I said, yeah, but fake it. What does that mean? I say, all day long, anytime you can just consciously pass by, you say, oh, I am happy. I am happy. You could be miserable. I don't really care. The idea is, I am happy. I am happy. Repetition, practice is how you make habits. And so if you keep saying it all day long, I'm happy, and you say it for a period of time because it's habit practice, there's a day you wake up and you already started happy because the program is already in there. You don't even have to do it anymore.
And the moment you decide to no longer think the same way, make the same choice, act the same way, create the same experience, or live by the same emotion, it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel unfamiliar. There is going to be a certain amount of uncertainty and unpredictability. And the moment you feel uncomfortable, you just stepped into the river of change. Now, most people, the moment they feel uncomfortable, they return back to the familiar state of the mind and body. They start thinking the same way, acting the same way, feeling the same way, and they say, this feels right. Now, going from the old self to the new self is the neurological, is the chemical, is the biological, is the hormonal, and even genetic death of the old self. That void, that place of uncertainty, that unknown, is the perfect place to create it. And if you and I can become comfortable in that unknown and begin to decide who we do want to be.
Your potential is unlimited using affirmations. Remember that affirmations are a way of programming your subconscious mind. By repeated affirmations, you can instill within your mind powerful, positive commands that will eventually determine your automatic thoughts, feelings, and responses. In order for affirmations to work, they must be phrased using the 3 Ps. They must be in the present tense, positive and personal. The affirmations, I can do it, I like myself, I feel terrific, are all positive, present tense and personal. The subconscious is very literal in nature and can only accept commands phrased in the present tense. For some reason, it ignores negative commands and focuses only on the positive message. If you have to write an exam of any kind, take a few moments to close your eyes, breathe deeply, and see yourself writing the exam easily, knowing all the answers. If you have an interview coming up, take a few moments to rehearse the interview in your mind. Go through every stage of it. See yourself performing at your very best and visualize the other person responding to you in a positive and productive way. All improvement in your life begins with an improvement in your mental pictures. If you want to drive a better car, go and test. Drive exactly the automobile that you desire. Get the brochure on the car and put pictures of the car all over your house or apartment. A friend of mine used this exact technique to get his dream car. He cut out a picture of the new BMW he wanted and put it on the steering wheel of his car. Each time he looked down, he imagined he was already driving his dream car. Within 1 year, he had it. When you take your desired car for a test drive, fill your senses with every detail of the automobile. Touch it and smell it and look at the upholstery and the dashboard and the interior design. Your main job is to get a clear picture for your subconscious to go to work on.